And welcome back to the channel. On this video, well, here we go again. That's right. I'm laughing because it's true. Here we go again. Another e-bike law. And this time we're going back to California. So it's kind of like a tennis match. We're lobbying the ball back and forth into your court. So we have New York, we have New Jersey, we have Florida, and we have California. It's each turn to volley the ball back and forth. Well, it's back to California this time. And what am I talking about here? Well, I'm talking about the new Accountability Act that could be soon in effect. It is proposed. It's not passed yet, but I want to read you just exactly what this is. So this is for California. The proposed e-bike Accountability Act in California seeks to establish a mandatory DMV registration and licensing system for Class 2 and Class 3 e-bikes. Introduced by Assembly Member Rebecca Bauer-Kahan, I think that's how you pronounce it, the bill aims to address safety concerns and increase rider accountability following incidents involving high-speed e-bike use. Key provisions of the proposal: mandatory registration. Owners would be required to register their e-bikes with the California DMV and display a state-issued license plate. Ownership verification. The system would require proof of ownership matching the e-bike's serial number. Age restrictions for minors. Class 2, permitted for riders under 18 only with parental involvement in the registration and licensing process. Class 3, entirely prohibited for minors under this proposed law. Enforcement. Law enforcement would have the authority to impound e-bikes that lack valid registration or license plates. Context and existing regulations. This bill contrasts with current California law, which generally exempts standard e-bikes from registration and licensing requirements. Current law, the AB 1909, prohibits local jurisdictions, I'll get it straight, from mandating bicycle registration statewide. Local pilot programs. Recent laws like the AB 2234 already allow specific areas, such as San Diego County, to ban riders under 12 from operating e-bikes as part of a safety pilot program. Safety requirements. Starting in 2026, which we're into now, existing laws already mandate that all e-bikes have high visibility red rear reflectors or lights for nighttime safety. Critics of the new proposal argue it could create barriers to transit equity and increase the risk of pretextual, I'll get it, stops by law enforcement. California's proposed bill seeks to enhance e-bike safety by requiring DMV registration for Class 2 and Class 3 e-bikes. The proposed e-bike Accountability Act in California seeks to establish a mandatory DMV registration and licensing system for Class 2 and Class 3 e-bikes. And so the mandatory registration, owners would be required to register their e-bikes with the California DMV and display a state-issued license plate. Ownership verification, you would need, the system would require proof of the ownership matching the e-bike's serial number. We already went through that. So critics of the new proposal argue it could create barriers for the transit equity and increase the risk for being stopped by law enforcement. Would you like to know more about this? Yeah, we're going to know more here. In California, e-bikes are categorized into 3 classes based on their top speed and how the motor is engaged: pedal assist versus throttle. These classifications determine where you can ride and who is eligible to operate the bike. E-bike class comparison. Okay, so Class 1, you can have a top speed of up to 20 miles per hour without a throttle. It's pedal assist only. Class 2 is pedal assist up to 20 miles per hour plus throttle up to 20 miles per hour. You can do either. So if those anyone out there that says, oh, you shouldn't be throttling the e-bike, well, you can legally in most states, including California, up to 20 miles per hour. 28 is where it changes and you must throttle at 20, or you must pedal. It should be throttle, but it's pedal. Motor type, pedal assist only, throttle and pedal assist only. Minimum age, none. It varies by city. 16 plus years of age, helmet is required for anyone under 18. Let's see here. Where can you ride? Class 1 and Class 2, these are generally treated like traditional bicycles. They are allowed on multi-use bike paths, paved trails, and city streets. Class 3, these are strictly restricted due to their higher speed. They are allowed on roads, on road bike lanes and city streets, but are typically prohibited from multi-use paths and coastal trails unless specific local ordinances allow them. I never understood that. I mean, what's the difference? It's how fast you're going, not whether the bike is class 1, 2, or 3. Maybe if you limit the speed and enforce that up to 15 miles per hour, then it wouldn't matter if you have a class 3. As long as you're riding it within that speed limit, it shouldn't make a difference. You should be able to come off the road, go onto a trail, and go back onto the road. I don't see an issue with that. That's me personally. So let's talk about labeling. Manufacturers are required to place a permanent label on the frame indicating the bike's e-bike's class, top assisted speed, and motor wattage. And let's talk now about how this new California e-bike law will affect riders. If the proposed E-Bike Accountability Act passes, it will fundamentally change the experience for California e-bike riders by shifting their legal status closer to a motor vehicle operator. While standard e-bikes are currently exempt from registration, this law would introduce several new obligations and risks. Here's what the direct impact would be on riders. Mandatory DMV visits. Owners of Class 2 and Class 3 e-bikes would have to visit the DMV, California DMV, to register their bikes, obtain a state-issued license plate, and carry proof of ownership. That, for me, would be all of my bikes. All of my bikes are Class 2 and Class 3. So I don't have a Class 1 bike. All mine have a throttle on it, so I'd have to register them all. And at the moment, I have 7 e-bikes and 1 electric scooter here. So let's continue on and talk about Class 3. Minors, I'll try it again. Minors would be entirely prohibited from riding these high-speed 28-mile-per-hour bikes. So no minors riding Class 3. Class 2, riders under 18 would only be allowed to ride if a parent or guardian is involved in the registration and licensing process. Increased enforcement power. Law enforcement would have the authority to impound e-bikes that lack a valid license plate or registration. Owners would only be able to retrieve their bikes after meeting registration requirements. Parental liability. Parents could be held legally responsible, including being cited or fined, for allowing their children to operate e-bikes that do not meet these new legal standards. Secondary effects and concerns. Cost of compliance. Beyond the time spent at the DMV, riders may face registration fees, though the bill aims to keep the process relatively simple, no written test required. Equity and access. Advocacy groups like CalBike have historically opposed such measures, arguing that registration requirements create barriers for low-income riders and may lead to pretextual stops by police. Safety accountability. The primary goal of the bill is to make riders identifiable so they can be held accountable for reckless behavior, particularly on shared paths where high-speed accidents have increased. Recent changes already in effect for 2026. Regardless of the new bill, several safety laws officially took effect on January 1st, 2026 that you must follow now. Always on rear visibility. All bikes must have a red rear reflector or a flashing solid red light visible during all hours of the day, not just at night. Battery safety. All new e-bikes and replacement batteries sold in California must now be tested by an accredited lab like UL 2849 and display a permanent certification label. minor safety courses. Minors who violate helmet laws may now be required to complete an online safety training program as a condition of clearing their citation. So there's just a little bit of what's going on here in California, some of what is already in place, and this new Accountability Act. And I don't know what to think about this. I have to think about this one some more. I guess on one hand, I can see this because it does lead to accountability for your actions should you break the law in any way. But for somebody that has a lot of e-bikes, that's going to be a lot of tracking to the DMV. Maybe you need to just get some great big truck or hire a truck to come and grab all your bikes if you have a lot of bikes like some of us. And so I don't know. Let me know your thoughts on this. Very interesting. It doesn't require you to have insurance. It doesn't say. It doesn't require you to have a driver's license. It doesn't require, any of that, but it does require you to register your bike and put a license plate on it so they can track you. So I guess you can't take your license plate off and put it on each bike each time you ride. Maybe each license plate has to be specifically for one bike. I don't know. But maybe not. Maybe you can just take that'd be a pain though, but take the license off every time. But you have to register each bike because obviously they have a different registration number they would have. So let me know your thoughts. Very interesting, California, but boy, I'm sure getting tired of all these different things they're doing. It used to be when I first started riding an e-bike, which is about 7 or 8 years ago. There was no law, no worries about it. You just obey the law, do your thing, no problem. And now they're doing all this. But the funny thing is, I still don't know if they're enforcing any of this yet, but we'll see. Anyway, that's the latest. And it's California, as I say, is turn today. Watch out tomorrow because we'll see who else is involved here. But until next time, we'll just leave it at that. So let me definitely hear your comments on this. What are your thoughts, particularly those of you that live in California, but even if you live outside anywhere else in the world? What do you think about this if it was happening in your area? Are you okay with it? Taking your bike, getting it registered, getting a license plate for it? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. So that's going to do it for this video. If you like this video, go ahead and hit the like button. If you would like to subscribe to the channel, thank you very much. Just hit that subscribe button. And if you want to be notified as to when the next video comes up on the channel, just hit that notification bell. And if you want to leave a comment on this video or any others that you've seen on the channel, go ahead and leave that in the comments below. Once again, thank you for joining me here on Electric Bike Mark. And until next time, be safe, everyone, and keep your wheels on the road. See you later.